So now that we have the ability to store and compile our code, we can begin to write more advanced functions. Those that we've written so far were extremely simple and a bit underwhelming. We'll get to more interesting stuff. The first function we'll write will need to greet someone differently according to gender. Now, I'm going to create a new one here. Let's create a new one called them. Hello 2. Why not? We're kind of boring here, but so we've got a new module. Let's declare it again. It's called hello 2. Whoops. We've got a new module declaration. Hello 2. And let's export a function here. And we're going to call it greet. Simple greet. But it's going to take in 2 arguments this time. And we'll just take that for now until we add some more stuff. So here's our function greet. Now greet is going to, as we said, got to greet people differently depending on their gender. Now, if we take in that the gender is male, and the fellow has a name, so male is an atom because it's in lowercase, and then you've got a name for this person. What Erlang should do is if this gentleman is male, then it should format and hello Mr. and then get that name from somewhere. Oh, hang on, that's not what we do. How do we get that? We get that from this. We get this, and then we close the quotes, and then we add the name from before, and that's oh, hang on, it's not that. We need to get the name in a clamp. So that, and that should be it. But hang on a second. I've just put a full stop there. I should not put a full stop there because I've got other clauses to the sentence. And the way to separate that in Erlang is with a semicolon. Now, if we greet someone who is female, and has a name, we assume they do, then we shall say to that person, hello Ms. Old Ms. And then we shall also capture the name. Of this person. And again, we should put a semicolon because there are other people who may not be male or female, be something else completely different. And we need to figure those out. That if it's anything else, well, if it's anything, then it's an underscore. But it does have a name, whoever, whatever, whenever that person could be. And in that case, how should we greet them? Well, usually they have pronouns these days. We'll just say hello. We just say hello because hello should be all right without any disturbance to the force, right? And then we capture the name as we have for others, and now you can finally put the full stop down. So there we have it. It's not as beautiful as an if then else kind of a function that we see in other languages, but it's self-evident here. We're trying to say something quite elegantly. No, I think it's elegant. I don't know, a lot of people might think this is ugly, but this is definitely elegant, and it's quite easy to see how we write. We don't need to write a word function. We just put the function right there. We put the arguments in. We have an arrow, a very nice, simple arrow telling you what the function is going to return. And then it calls another module with another function in that module with the arguments that we have provided. And it's quite simple. And these tokens, as you can see, there are tokens here that we put in. Well, let's put in another token here, like we remember we did it last time with a new line. I should do the same thing here, new line. Otherwise, we'll just probably get some okays, which we don't want. Well, you could do that, right? So you've got S for the string to capture the string, or with a tilde. You got N for the line break. You could also have P, which is also called pretty print, which we will see in a little bit. We could do that and see what that to do. So there are quite a few different ways of capturing these tokens. All right. So now you've got hello 2 as a fairly new module with a little bit different functions from last time. This time a little more compliant. So with DEI. So let's go and save that and get into the Erlang shell. And this time let's compile hello 2. Let's see. It's okay. It says it's okay. So it likes us. Okay, so now that it's compiled, what can we do is to call the greet function from hello 2. And this time we're going to say it's a male. And the name is let us see. What happens is that we need to put in a string here. Let's call our gentleman friend with the more ubiquitous name than the usual. So I propose Zeus. That's what his name is. His name is Zeus. Okay. Let's see. Here's a male called Zeus, and hello, Mr. Zeus comes out. Very well. Let's try to do that same thing, and this time it's a female. And her name is, Diana. Why not? Diana. Hello, Miss Diana. That works. And anything else, we're just going to call it a Klingon called Worf. hello wolf. And that is how it works. So we've got some functions, and now what we can do, what it's been doing so far is it's been doing what is called pattern matching. Pattern matching. That's what Erlang excels at. How has it been matching the pattern? So if you go up and see here, the first example, the function greet was defined in a way. The first clause, the first argument of the first clause was that if there's an atom called male and then a string following that, then it should respond with a hello Mr. So you could do the same thing. It says if you want to say it's a hello male, but it's a male, but you want to call it somebody else, somebody like Fiona. Now that's a girl's name, we know that, but the computer doesn't know that. It thinks Fiona's a male, so it'll say hello Mr. Fiona. Now that could be ridiculous. That could be very, very funny. But it's pattern matching. It's matching the pattern. If it matched, as long as it matches that the first argument in the greet function was actually female, and you could say here John is a female, and then you had hello Ms. John, and that's also possible because the computer doesn't know. And if it was anything else, for example, we had a Klingon here, but if it had I don't know, we don't even say what it was, we just put an underscore here, and it's just going to match the pattern. It's unbound, is it? So it is an atom. It needs an atom. Let's call it A for atom, and it'll just go ahead and say wolf. So that's the pattern matching it do. So let's see if we can get some more pattern matching going on here in our new module. So one of the things we're going to do is going to quit this, get out of the shell, open the hello2 function, and let's create another function. This time let's find out, let's take in a list and do some things else with the list. So you know how we have lists, and we have heads and tails in lists, and the way we usually find out the head is, this is the built-in function in Erlang to find out the head of a tail, or TL for the tail, but we don't really need that. Let's create our own one. So let's create a function called head, which takes in a list, which has a head, and it has a tail, but it has a tail. Yes, there's your list. Here's your list, and what it does with the list is that it returns the head, okay, of the list. Now, because we're not doing anything with the T, we could just replace it with an underscore, which is fine. Any list which has a head and some kind of a tail, which we don't care about, we should get the head for that. So that's another way of rewriting this head function. Let's do another one. Let's say let's call it second. This is the second element of a list. So now you've got another list here, and inside the list you've got a head and a tail. What you want is to say, here's inside the list there's an element, and then there's a second element, and then beyond that is a tail or whatever it is. It's the rest of the list, none of which we care about. We don't care about anything. The only thing we care about is that little X element, and we just drag it out of the list and we have it published. So can we actually make it happen? Let's see. Let's compile hello2. Well, oh, we haven't exported it. We have not exported them. Alrighty then. So let's export this. That's very important. You used to do that. Before we exported greet to, haha, we did not export the head, which takes in a list, so that's just one, or the second element, which also takes in just one element, one argument. Now we should be able to compile our hello2 without too much of a problem. Great, oh my, hello2. It's such a relief to see no errors popping up. Okay, hello2. Let's find the head of a list of atoms. Well, we've been using numbers all the time. Let's take that. So happy, grumpy, sleepy. What are the other names of the elves or dwarves? Happy, grumpy, sleepy, sneezy. If I'm not mistaken, there was a sneezy guy. And let's just put what was the name of her? Cinderella. No, not Cinderella. Was it Cinderella? Yes, of course it was Cinderella. Cinderella. Okay, close the list and ship them off. We find out that happy is the head. Now we can do the same thing, but instead of finding the head, we want the second element here. And the second element is grumpy. Of course, it didn't have any. We could always do that and create that list here. So that's one way to do what we wanted to do. So these are some functions with pattern matching. As long as the pattern is matched in a very curious way, then it actually works. So when it comes out, it's all nice. Well, when we were actually writing it, that's quite weird, isn't it? The syntax just crazy. Okay, there's other things you can do with you can find out the date from this shell. It's 2024, August the 15th. The year, the month, and the date. Can also tell the time. Can we tell the time in the shell? Yes, we can. It's 16:45. It's 4:45 in the afternoon with the second passed. And of course, if I do that again, I'll get some other results. But essentially, it's 4:45. Now, what I would like to do is to take this date and time and format it in a way that's more human readable. I'm going to create a function for this now. So if we get out of this and create a new, let's create a new one. Let's create one called time travel. Back to the future. Back to the future, Erlang. We need time here. So yeah. So okay. So let's declare this module called Back to the Future, and let's export a function here called valid time. Valid underscore time. And what valid time takes in is it takes in date and time. So it takes in two arguments. It takes in two arguments, valid time. Let's create the function valid time. I hate underscores, but I did put that in, so yeah. Valid time. What's inside it? Well, it's interesting. Here in the sample that I have, it takes in only one argument. So this is interesting. Let's just take one argument and let's not complicate matters too much. So you've got one argument, which is a tuple, and the tuple is date, which equals a year, a month, and a day, and time, which equals an hour, a minute, and a second. Now, we have to be a little bit careful because we already have M for month, so we have hour, minute, and second for that, and it's time. So that's what it takes in. And if it takes these arguments, then what it returns is the correct format. So let's format it. Our format is in a way that humans can read. The date tuple. So to a tuple, and we're going to do what's called pretty printing. Pretty printing is like this. You don't use the P token. Date tuple says today is, and now we're going to use that a couple more times because we love this pretty printing so much. This is going to do, okay, so here's this pretty print with a slash because we like that. Pretty print and another slash and another pretty print. That's date. It'll be year, month, and date. That's year, month, and date, day, and of course we'll have a new line here. So we'll just put in a new that one looks interesting, and that's what we've got. So we did that, and having done that, we will do that clamping thing, the date YMD. So we've taken all these things in, we close the bracket, but we haven't stopped here because that's just one thing. The clause continues. So we did this, and now we need the time. So we need the time, and the time is IO format. The time tuple, again pretty print, says the time is again we got a squiggly P, but this time we want a colon. That's an hour, minute, second, and full stop. And we're going to do a squiggly new line, close the quotes, and then outside the quotes we we capture time with minute and second. Close the quotes. And we're still not done because there's always sometimes something that no one has ever thought about. And in that case, you will have valid time, the function being called with something completely different that we don't know about. So we must always take care of that unknown use case, the edge case. And if that's the case, we'll just return something like IO format with an error message. So that's our catch function. We're going to catch and say invalid data. Okay, that's it. That's what we're going to do. Invalid data. Oh, and we should probably use squiggly n here so that we are not irritated by all these letters and numbers just squishing together. And now we can just put the full stop right there. So that was a big function. Valid time indeed. And let's see how can we use it. And so let's not forget, this is called Back to the Future. We have just saved it. Let's see, does it compile? Does it compile Back to the Future? Okay, great. So it's fine. Now what we're going to do is to call this function from this Back to the Future valid time, and inside the valid time arguments we have one argument. And the argument is a tuple, and the tuple is like this. And inside here we have two elements where we have date. I don't know if this is going to work. I really don't know if this is going to work. And it may or may not, but let's see if it does. And it might throw an error. Oh ho! The date tuple says today is 2024 8:15. The time tuple says it's 16:54. Well, it took me about 10 minutes to do this. Just about under 10 minutes. But it works. We can pull in the date and time from Erlang and create. So it's because we knew that date when we asked for it in the Erlang shell gives us a tuple. And we also knew that the time when we did it in the Erlang shell gives us a tuple. And that's why when we defined our function, we put in a tuple of tuples. A tuple of tuples. Well, that's good enough. Now that we are rhyming, let's go on to something called guards. And that will be the next video. See you next time. But we should just first quit here. That's important. It's very important.